I just recently tweeted out on @DevotedDividend on Twitter or X, so you guys definitely should follow me if you don't already. I tweeted out that I'm 32 years old and I currently earn around $90,000 in dividends per year, which is around $7,700 in dividends per month, or around $256 in dividends every single day of the year, or around $10.69 in dividends per hour, and this is every single hour of the year, or around 18 cents per minute, or around 0.003 cents per second. Now, this is obviously sort of a pointless tweet. It was basically just dividing out my dividend income on a yearly basis over different time frames like years, months, days, seconds, etc. But the most important portion of this tweet is this right here, where I said this is the definition of having your money basically work for you. And that's exactly what a lot of us dividend investors are trying to achieve. We're trying to build out long-term portfolios to where we can have our money make us money while we sleep, while we travel, while we work, etc. So in this video, for those of you guys who are interested, we're going to be going through my entire 7-figure dividend portfolio, and I'm going to share with you guys every single stock and ETF that I own as of right now across all my portfolios combined. Along with this, I'm also going to share with you guys some of my most recent purchases over the last 30 or so days. And spoiler alert, I've been adding a ton of new positions on my portfolio just over the last month or so. So if you want to see the behind the scenes of a 7-figure portfolio and see what it takes to earn around $250 on average every single day of the year, then make sure to stick around, drop a like down below, and let's get right into it. If you are a dividend investor who wants to level up your portfolio, you need to be tracking your dividend income consistently. And that's why I created the perfect dividend tracker that I've used to scale my dividend income up to all-time highs over the last year. Now, along with this dividend tracker, you're also going to receive my A to Z dividend investing ebook, which shows you how I personally started from $0 several years ago to now where I earn over $7,500 per month in dividends. So if you want this tracker and the ebook, go to the first link down below in my description and grab it today. Now first, before we go through my entire portfolio and I share with you guys every single position more or less as far as stocks and ETFs that I'm currently holding on to across all my portfolios combined, I do want to show you guys some of the purchases I've made over the last 30 or so days. And this is inside of one of my largest portfolios. I do hold on to portfolios across different brokers, so my entire investing web is sort of all over the place, but I do most of my trading in this large portfolio. Now, to look into the portfolio and to see what I've been buying over the last 30 or so days, on November 18th, I bought 1 share of AIPI. This is the REX AI Equity Premium Income ETF. This is a newer position. It's a small position, but AIPI offers a ton of income potential, and it's definitely an ETF that I've been grabbing here and there over the last month or so. Then I grabbed 2 shares of BALI. This is another newer ETF that I just added to my portfolio for the first time as of recent. This ETF offers a super high quality, large cap exposure, covered call income oriented play with also some upside. BALI is definitely one to look into. Then we grab 3 more shares of Devo. Devo is an ETF that I've held onto for a long time, and you're going to see how much Devo I have across my portfolios altogether. It's quite a bit, but Devo is a position I've actually been thinking about adding a lot more of my portfolio, and this is just because Devo does of course offer a lot of income from day one, but also some upside too. Then I grabbed a bunch of FEPI. I grabbed 2 shares of FEPI on this day. I grabbed 6 shares of FEPI on this day. I then grabbed 2 more shares of FEPI, 2 more shares of FEPI, and then I also grabbed some more FEPI from there. Then I grabbed some GIAX. This is a Nicholas Global ETF. I grabbed 2 shares at a starter position. One of my friends were talking about it, and I figured I'd look a little bit deeper into it. But until then, just 2 tiny shares at around $19.76 a piece. Then in the last 3 days, I grabbed some more GPIQ, which is the Goldman Sachs Nasdaq 100 Premium Income ETF. I grabbed 4 shares on this day. I grabbed 3 shares on this day. Then I grabbed 2 shares, 2 shares. It looks like 3 more shares. So still stacking up more and more shares of GPIQ. Everything across the market as of right now is pretty expensive, including all the names that we're talking about in my opinion. But I'm still chipping away, adding more and more equity in my portfolio as time goes on. Then next I grabbed a few more shares of GPIX. This is basically the same thing as GPIQ, but instead of tracking the Nasdaq, it utilizes the S&P 500. We grabbed a share of GPIX in the earlier days of November. Then oddly enough, it looks like I grabbed a share of JEPI. I honestly don't even remember buying this share of JEPI. I can't really explain why. I do, of course, own a ton of JEPI and JEPQ, and JEPQ has officially been back on my radar as daily purchase, as you guys can see. I grabbed a significant portion of JEPQ compared to my previous last year of buying when it comes to JEPQ in the last month or so. And this is only because as time goes on, JEPQ is continuing to prove itself and honestly shaping out to be one of the highest quality, best total return potential covered call style ETFs that does track the Nasdaq, of course. And even though I already own a ton of JEPQ, I finally decided to, you know what, reach into my pocket, spend some more money on it moving forward. But that's not it. I did a ton more purchasing also in November. I grabbed a share of Main Street Capital. I grabbed a bunch more shares of the NEOS Nasdaq QQQI ETF. I grabbed 10 shares in this state, 311. So it looks like I grabbed 15 more shares of this ETF in my portfolio portfolio in November. Then of course, you guys guessed it, I grabbed a ton more SHD. With the ex-dividend date coming up very soon here, I want to load up on as many shares as possible, hopefully, because SHD should be raising their dividend, their quarterly dividend should be going up, hopefully year over year. So for that reason, along with just finishing out my long-term position in SHD, because remember, next year I'm going to change things up and start buying a different high quality ETF every single day, like I have been doing with SHD for several years now. But I grabbed a ton more SHD, probably 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 more shares across all my portfolios in the last month or so. Now, the last few purchases in this portfolio for the month of November, or the last 30 or so days, more or less, I grabbed some more SPYI, which I have not added to in a while. I grabbed some more SPYT, some more of that. Then a tiny bit of SVOL, 10 shares here, 2 more shares there. So for the most part, it's more or less the same names that you guys have been seeing me buy consistently. Names that offer me a ton of income from day one, but also offer some potential for growth on top of that. And I'm not going to lie to you guys, by buying into names that yield starting, say, 7%, 8%, 12%, or even more, it is allowing my long-term portfolio to gain a lot of total monthly and total yearly income as far as dividends go very, very quickly. And now because of that, the portfolio is closing in on almost $8,000 per month in dividends, which hopefully we're going to hit within the next few months here. And of course, if there's some nice juicy dividend increase from realty income, which I own a ton of, or of course my favorite SHD, which we should know soon, that's definitely going to help the total yearly and total monthly income move upwards substantially. So now that we talked about all my purchases over the last 30 or so days in my large portfolio, going through some of my positions in my long-term portfolio just to update you guys, see what I'm holding on to in case some of you guys are interested. So I'm still holding on to around 1,768 shares of BDJ, BlackRock Enhanced Equity Dividend Trust. This closed-end fund did just as of recently announce an increase in their distribution, which is awesome and allows me to earn a lot more income because across my portfolios I own quite a bit of this one. Next, I own almost 1,500 shares of Devo. Like I said, this one is going to be a potential for a much larger position moving forward in my portfolio. I'm still sort of on the fence about it. Then I still own my same shares of Verizon, my same shares of Apple, nothing new with QYLD, nothing really new with Realty Income. I think add a few more shares of Realty Income in the last weeks, but nothing too crazy there. JetB, like you saw, I grabbed another share, JetB, EPD, nothing new there, BST, nothing new. JetQ, I did add, as you guys saw, quite a bit in the last month or so, which I will probably continue to do so, build out this position larger and larger. ZIVB, or now ZVOL, I did grab a share or two of this one, nothing crazy. Nothing new with NewC or XYLD. We did, of course, add a ton of SHD. We're sitting at almost 2,300 shares across all my portfolios, which is massive. Then around 300 shares of Altria Group, nothing there, nothing new with Triple N REIT, nothing new with JP Morgan or Vici or KMI. Main Street Capital, grabbed a share or two of Main Street Capital. WP Carey, nothing new there. P&W still the same. Tesla still the same. UPS still the same. Nothing new with any of these other positions. These are still rotting away in my portfolio, earning me small amounts of income consistently. SVOL, like I said, I grabbed a few more shares of SVOL randomly this last month. Stag, nothing new there. Nothing new with T-Row, KMB, VNQ, KO, PSA. SPYI, like I showed you guys, I did grab a share or two in the last month or so. Still pretty much maxed out on my position though when it comes to SPYI. FEPI, I did dip in and buy a few more shares of FEPI this month because again, I am a fan of FEPI. I like the strategy and the underline. And along with that, with only having around 30 or so shares, I feel like I'm willing to dip a little bit deeper into FEPI moving forward. Nothing new with DGRW. With FDVV, I might have grabbed a share this last month. I can't really remember. VIG, I did grab, I think, 2 more shares this month, which is awesome. Only 14 shares, but still, this is a pretty big position considering just a few months back, I owned none of it. And then I grabbed a little bit more SPYT, like you guys saw. Pepsi, nothing new there, nothing new with T. DIVB, nothing. We did grab some more NEOS NASDAQ 100, as you guys saw. AIPI, we grabbed a share or two. And then, of course, we still have our 2 shares, the starter position of QQA. So that more or less is the portfolio. Remember, you guys, these numbers are all just to be estimated. This does not mean that, of course, I earn exactly $92,000 per year or $7,700 per month. These are all just estimated just to give us an idea and indication of where the portfolio is moving forward. But by owning all these different stocks and ETFs as of this moment and moving forward, hopefully, I currently am in fact earning roughly around $250 every single day from dividends. Of course, I don't get that paid every single day, but I'm just talking averages. And this is from an accumulation of over 7 years now of purchasing different stocks and ETFs basically every single day the market's open. This is also with dividend raises over the years, dividend increases, distributions, and everything else in between. So now that we went through my most recent purchases and we basically went through another portfolio overview, I lastly, most importantly, want to hear from you guys down below. Over the last 30 or so days, what stocks and or ETFs have you been purchasing as of crazy, loading up more and more in your portfolio before the end of the year? Drop some of the ticker symbols in my comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to please drop a like on it and subscribe for more future content like this. Thanks as always for stopping by, and if you are interested in investing, make sure to check out these recent videos I posted right here.